As Iranian nuclear talks are coming closer to their November 24th deadline, Russia has agreed to sell 8 nuclear reactors to the Middle Eastern country for peaceful use. For now, the Russians will help the Iranians build 2 nuclear power plants, while the rest of the reactors will reportedly be built at a later date.
President Obama says his reaching out to Iran to help in the fight against ISIS has nothing to do with Iran's nuclear program. Should the United States try to work with Iran to fight ISIS?
Iran is not your ally. Iran is not your friend. Iran is your enemy. It's not your partner. Iran is committed to the destruction of Israel, just as the P5+1, the United States and the world powers are negotiating with Iran a nuclear agreement. The Ayatollah Khamenei, the ruler of Iran, calls for the annihilation of Israel. He just did that 4 days ago. He specified 9 ways and reasons by which Israel should be destroyed. He's participated in rallies and chants of death to America, death to Israel. This is not a friend, neither in the battle against ISIS nor in the the great effort that should be made to deprive him the capacity to make nuclear weapons. Don't fall for Iran's ruse. They are not your friend.
There's about a week left to the deadline for the U.S.-Iran nuclear talks. Do you think the United States should agree to any concessions in order to make a deal with Iran?
I want to be clear what has to be achieved. It's not merely preventing Iran from having nuclear weapons today. It's to prevent them, Bob, from having nuclear weapons tomorrow. That means that Iran should not be left with the residual capacity to enrich uranium that you need for an atomic bomb, nor to have the long-range ballistic missiles, the ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, to launch them. Why is Khamenei developed? Why have they developed ballistic missiles? They don't need them to reach Israel. They need them to reach the United States. Now they're asking for the capacity to make, in very short order, the nuclear bombs to put on those missiles that can reach the United States. They should be deprived from having that capacity to make those weapons. And I think that's what's on the table. I think it's important to continue the sanctions. The alternative to a bad deal is not war. The alternative to a bad deal are more sanctions, tougher sanctions that will make Iran dismantle its capacity to make nuclear bombs.
Prime Minister, I would like to hear your characterization of how you think relations are now between the United States and Israel as you
work. I think the relationship between Israel and the United States is very, very strong. I mean, there's bipartisan support for Israel, which we appreciate. And not only that, I think support for Israel among the American people is at an all-time high. Because I think Americans, when they look around the Middle East and they see ISIS beheading Americans, they see the chants death to America in Tehran, they see the fluidity, that's an understatement, the fact that one state after another is collapsing, and they see this democratic state of Israel, admittedly a beleaguered democracy, but one that stands for American values of democracy and personal liberty and free speech and an organized society and a high-tech society. People instinctively understand that Israel is America's best ally in the United States, in the Middle East, the best ally of the United States. And you know, in Israel, we think America is our best ally too. So there's a very, very strong bond there. And yes, we can have disagreements between governments. That happens in the best of families, but we are one family.
Prime Minister, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Bob.
موشک بالستیک سجیل که این موشک میتواند تمام نقاط اسرائیل و پایگاه‌های آمریکا را در منطقه بزند و با خاک یکسان کند. هیچ مرکزی از مراکز اتمی و موشکی اسرائیل از موشک‌های ایران در امان نیست و مراکز اتمی اسرائیل و مناطقی که موشک‌های خود را در آنجا مخفی کرده است در تیررس مستقیم موشک‌های پرقدرت و پرسرعت و مهیب ایرانی است. سقف آهنین اسرائیل هم قابلیت دفاع در برابر این موشک‌ها را ندارد. خدا را شکر چقدر به برکت انقلاب عزت نصیب این ایران شده. این موشک‌ها لحظاتی پس از پرتاب از جو زمین خارج می شوند و با سرعت غیر قابل تصور در حدود 16 برابر سرعت صوت به سوی هدف ادامه مسیر می دهند که هیچ قدرت دفاعی توان دیدن آنها را ندارد تا چه رسد به انهدام آنها. البته این رو هم بگویم تمام این ابزار رو که ما داریم فقط برای دفاع است و بس. ابزار دفاعی است، بازدارندگی هدف است. دفاع هم که حق مسلم نه هر کشور بلکه حق مسلم هر انسانی است. اگر اسرائیل روزی دیوانه شود و فکر تجاوز به ایران را در سر بپروراند با موشک‌های بالستیک سجیل که توان برد 2000 کیلومتر را دارند، در حالی که توجه دارید فاصله ما با اسرائیل 1200 کیلومتره، اینها تا 2000 میتونن برد داشته باشند. اگر چنین فکر غلطی در مغز اسرائیل به وجود بیاد که به ایران بخواد روزی حمله کند، همون قسم که مقام معظم رهبری فرمودند تل‌آویو و حیفا را با خاک یکسان خواهیم کرد. وظنوا انهم مانعتهم حصونهم من الله فاتاهم الله من حیث لم یحتسبوا. بنابراین با زبان تهدید و زور با کشوری قوی چون ایران کاری بس احمقانه است. هیچ راهی برای طرف مقابل جز مذاکره منطقی در فضای احترام وجود ندارد و ایران حتی یک قدم از توسعه و غنیسازی اورانیوم عقب نشینی نخواهد کرد و از حق مسلم خود در مورد انرژی هسته‌ای صرف نظر نخواهد نمود.
Josh, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that the president sent a letter last month to Iran's supreme leader talking about the shared interest that the U.S. and Iran has in the fight against the Islamic State. Can you confirm that that letter was sent?
I'm not in a position to discuss private correspondence between the president and any world leader.
چند جمله با آقای اوباما هم به جای نامه‌نگاری حسن نیت خودش را در عمل نشان دهد، نه اینکه هنوز مرکب نامه‌اش خشک نشده دستور تمدید وضعیت اضطراری ایران را صادر کند. خیلی عجیبه. آمریکا می‌داند که حتی در مقابله با داعش هم نمی‌تواند قدرت ایران را نادیده بگیرد. اوباما میگوید با اعمال تحریم ایران را سر میز مذاکره آورده ایم. نه، اشتباه کردیم. ایران حاضر به مذاکره شد تا به شما بفهماند و به دنیا بفهماند که شما دروغ میگید. اوباما و کری میگوید عدم توافق بهتر از توافق بد است. ما هم میگوییم همینطوره. ما هم میگوییم عدم توافق بهتر از پذیرش زور، قلدری و تحمل پیشنهادهای ظالمانه آمریکاست.
Then send a secret letter to the Ayatollah when Congress is saying we want a voice in these nuclear talks, for example, that we don't want to be cut out. If you're sending a secret letter, it sounds like you're not being transparent and you're cutting Congress out.
I recognize that it may sound that way, but the fact of the matter is there are also secret conversations between the administration and Congress about our negotiating strategy with Iran. I'm not going to detail those secret conversations either, but I am in a position to tell you that senior administration officials have been and continue to be in very close touch with relevant members of Congress about the progress that we're making on these P5+1 talks.
القدس العاصمة. إلى ذلك المحتل الغاشم نقول لن نسمح